Hello and welcome back to another video. I am so glad that you're here. So today I'm going to do something just a little bit different than normal. Instead of recommending books for you, I need you to recommend books for me. So there's a few kind of genres or subgenres that I'm interested in like dipping my toe into, just kind of giving them a shot. I am very clear, I think, about certain genres that I have never found appealing, and I decided I need to revisit them and see if maybe writing off an entire genre I shouldn't do, and I should give it another shot. So let's start with my first one, which is I would like to read a fantasy book that is not revolving around a war. So this is kind of something that I've had a hard time finding. I feel like there's certain things about fantasy that I would enjoy, but I always feel like there's some like battle or war, and I mean, I don't know if that's just how fantasy is, but I feel like there's got to be a couple that aren't. So I would love a recommendation on that. For the record, I have read the first two books in the ACOTAR series. They were fine. I didn't really love them. I thought they were fine. So I'm definitely not interested in that series or that kind of book. And I'm definitely not looking for a romantasy. If there's some sort of romance, sure, but I would like that to be a very minor part of the story. So I would love if you could give me your recommendations for that. And yeah, that would be super helpful because that is something that I want to try again. All right, the second thing that I'm looking for is a narrative nonfiction book that is not true crime, unless it's historical. So I have sort of over the years started to get to a place where I find true crime just kind of ick and exploitative, so I want to avoid that. Obviously, if everyone involved in the story is dead, then I'm fine. Then it's okay because like it's not harming anyone. But if it's, something that's still painful for living people, I would like to avoid that. I also want to like reiterate that I would like narrative nonfiction. So I like a nonfiction book that really tells a story throughout and is less like just throwing information at the reader. I want it to definitely, tell me a story, make me feel like I'm a part of it, and I'm not just like reading a textbook. All right, next is one that I've mentioned in previous videos, particularly in my goals for 2025 video, and that is I want to read more classics. And I'm having, I wouldn't say a hard time, but I am really trying to find some that I feel like are manageable for me, that I will be able to read without a lot of difficulty with either the language or the vocabulary. Like, I'm not trying to say that, like, I'm a big dummy, but sometimes I am. But I just don't want to be, like, dictionarying it every third word, if that makes sense. So I don't know if I need to start with something like more modern. Some classics that I have read and really loved are Rebecca. Um, is that all? I love A Christmas Carol, but I think that's more to do with like the story itself than like the writing of it. That wasn't very helpful at all. But some other ones that I've read and thought were like okay, The Great Gatsby. Um, Maybe that's it that I can think of right now. Again, classics that I've read have not necessarily been books that I have loved. I read Huckleberry Finn. That was fine. Most of the books that I like read for school, I may or may not have actually read. So I was a different person back then. So, I would love to like know your favorite classics that are just like kind of more accessible and hopeful, for someone who is starting to get into this sort of genre. And, the definition of what is a classic is pretty up for interpretation, but I just want something that's like, respected literature people have heard of, etc. I hope you're sitting down for this next request because it is very out of character for me. And that is, I want you to recommend me some smut that's not going to make me cringe. I've mentioned many times that that is definitely not my bag, but I'm like, you know what? Let's give it a shot. Let's see how it goes. And I really just want to make sure that it's not like I would like a little bit more of a story, I guess, which it seems like lots of people have read books like this. Like the smut is sure a big part of the plot, but there's a lot of other stuff going on. So I just don't know where I would begin to start with trying to find a book like that. So I want to know a book like that that you think I could possibly like. And if you have like a favorite, I don't know, just give me a little background on it because I just want to make sure I'm like picking a good representative of the genre. Okay, another category that I'm looking for a recommendation is a book that's been translated. Obviously, this is a pretty broad one. I have read several books that were translated, and for some reason, I just tended to not enjoy them as much. I've read one that was translated from, I think, Swedish, another from German, I believe. And these just tended to be books that, again, I don't know if it's related to the translation or if I just didn't like it. But I want to know what's your favorite book that's been translated. Because there are plenty that, I think I have enjoyed, but I want to enjoy, works from all over the world a little bit more instead of focus just in English speaking countries. So I know that a lot of like Japanese books have come and been really popular in the United States recently. So I just, hit me with whatever you got. I would just, yeah, like to know what kind of translated books you have been reading. I've never read like a manga or any really graphic, I think I've read one graphic novel ever. So if you have a recommendation and that's what it is, hey, I'll give it a shot. Why not? And my last request for a book recommendation is a fairy tale retelling. This could, I suppose, go along with the fantasy request I had, but I have a lot of like I really enjoy like fairy tale stories, any like theatrical productions of them and any like Disney versions or whatever. So I feel like I would enjoy any of these, even if it's like very loosely based on a fairy tale. I don't know. It just seemed like something cool to request because I know that a lot of them exist. It's just not anything that I've ever looked for, and I figured instead of spending my own time trying to find this book, why not just ask people who already know? And I trust you guys with your recommendations so much, so I thought this would be the best place to ask. Okay, so those are the recommendations that I want from you. If you have none, please still comment and let me know what kind of books you want recommendations of, because I always have some. These are just areas where I'm just a little short on recs. And hey, if there is a book you think that I would really enjoy based on, my other videos and other books that I like, let me know. Even if it's a category or a genre that I read often, I'm always looking for new books. So this is a big help to me, and I hope you guys have fun trying to find recommendations or selling me on your favorite books of these categories. So I certainly hope you enjoyed this video. A thumbs up goes a long way to help me towards that algorithm figuring it all out. And if you enjoyed it, please subscribe. I have lots of videos similar to this, and I would love to have you here again for my next video. And I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!